morning. We are KHTS, your hometown radio show, and this is Our Way on the Highway. And my name is Cindy, and I am filling in host today because the flu is going around Santa Clarita. So our wonderful learners, Josh and Nathan, are both sick. So you lovely ladies have me, and I'm so excited. I am so excited to be here interviewing. We have Lois, and I hope I don't pronounce your name wrong because I'm so excited to say it. Okay, so Lois Boccio, right?
You sound Italian.
Oh, good. Okay, great. And we have Amber Raskin and your daughter Sammy Raskin we're going to have on later.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just going to be chatting today about the amazing leadership that's going on here in Santa Clarita. So, Lois, I hit you with a rather difficult but kind of fun question and kind of a lead-in. So, in 5 words, I'll even give you as many as 7.
That's so generous.
I know. All right. Okay. I'm feeling really good. It's January. We'll give you 10. What does it mean to be a really great leader here in the community, do you think?
I think it's about bringing people together to affect change.
Ooh, and that was 6.
Beautifully
That
said.
was beautifully said.
Now, you know, that leadership can be great and positive. It also can be negative and worrisome.
Right.
It's about change, and which is it's an important aspect of our lives. We change every single day. So leaders are the ones who can make the change positive and make things happen, especially here in Santa Clarita. I mean, anybody who's lived here more than 20 years knows the amazing leadership that it's taken to create this really big city now, and we still feel like a small town, but we are a big city.
We are, aren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's taken leaders to make that happen.
Right. But what's really nice is that we're a big city with a small town feel.
Yes,
You know, our
indeed.
neighbors look out for each other. And I'm going to put you on the spot here, Amber, since we're talking about leadership. Can you give me, all right, I'm going to give her a little leeway because I didn't prep her with this question. We'll give you 20 words. Tell us what you think it takes to be a great leader here in our community.
Courage and persistence. So that's a lot less than 20, but I can talk a lot, so I'd be happy to elaborate.
Yes, please do.
And it does make me think about 20 years ago when I moved here and I was pregnant, or maybe 18 or 19 years ago, with my daughter. Moving out here, and when you say it's a big city with a small town feel, I very much agree. My husband and I lived in Los Angeles area, and he still works in Los Angeles, and we decided to move out here because we wanted that small town feel to raise our kids.
Sure.
And it was a big move for us. It's funny how different. It's interesting to me how far away it feels, even though it's really only maybe 25 minutes. And every time I travel, I go out in the world and I see these amazing places and then come back here and think, this is a really amazing place to live. I just love living here. Yeah. And so when I moved here and then got to school age for my kids, it was fascinating to see that evolve over the time, like you've said, how it's changed in 20 years, and to see how I watched as I saw where my place in the community was and other people's place. It's been a very interesting journey to observe locally.
Absolutely. And just kind of a side note here, one of the things that I love about coming into Santa Clarita is that when I crest the mountains, and I always feel like they're my mountains, you know, like my mountains. But Lois, so tell us, how did you, I don't know your history. I know that, congratulations, you've been Women of the Year. You have been one of Santa Clarita's most 51, which is an interesting number, 51, not 52, not, 14, 51. So I'm curious about that. But one of the 51 most influential people 9 times.
Yep.
9 times. That is so, Tell us about that.
I don't really know how that happens.
I don't know, your enthusiasm and your passion
Well,
for...
I think that I was blessed to be in a position working with the Child and Family Center Foundation, which had high visibility and which did some pretty amazing things for the community. And therefore, I was nominated, and I was fortunate to be selected those times.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is an influential person? Like, do you have responsibilities? What's entailed in being that?
I think influence has to do absolutely with relationships and the ability to build those relationships to once again affect change. So when you become more than superficially known to someone, they're likely to trust you. And when you need to approach someone to help you in some way through advocacy or through service, they're more likely to help you. So that's influence certainly as it applies to me. Now, other people are influential for different things. They've been legislative and they've been heads of our city and of our school district and things like that. But I think for someone like me that's had a lifetime of volunteerism and trying to build philanthropy in our community, it's about the relationships.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yes.
When you touched on volunteering, why and how is volunteering important? What role does that play?
Well, people can give with their time, their treasure, and their talents. So that's all we have to give. And some people don't have the treasure, but they have some time. And so volunteering becomes extremely important, particularly in days like ours where each person is so filled with responsibilities and we all feel overworked and everything. Somehow if you share the work for a common good, which it would be for instance, now I'm working with iLEAD, and that common good is the future of the children that are receiving education there and are learning to make their way in the world. That requires all kinds of people to volunteer time to do all the little things that it takes to make those things happen.
You were saying that you're volunteering now to help iLEAD. Because we're going to have Sammy on later.
But I'm not volunteering now with iLEAD.
She's part of our team.
Oh, she's part of the team.
We're so grateful that she's joined our team.
Yes.
And she's an amazing, passionate, talented person.
Okay.
And we're honored to have her accept
It's an exciting new thing for me.
Yay, so glad you're there. So because we're having Sammy on and the whole sort of, we're talking about mother-daughter and the growth and the evolution, for people who are listening, how does one get started doing what you're doing, getting involved? How did you get started?
Well, I had two tracks that started at about the same time. In the volunteer side, I joined Zonta very early when I came to Santa Clarita, which is a women's service organization, international, and we have lots of volunteer opportunities there. And through that, I met a lot of people. But also at the same time, I started working at Cal Arts, and I very early on recognized that I really liked what was happening in what they call the advancement office, which was getting support for the school through volunteering and through money. And so I took that as I was looking for a new professional track for myself, and I found out that you can actually have a career in that. I had no idea before that. And so I went to UCLA and I was trained, and it was an exciting journey for me to move up the ladder and take a leadership role professionally, as well as becoming like a president of Zonta, our local club, and area director and things like that. So it was kind of a two-track thing, both the volunteer thing and the professional part.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say your career is all about helping others.
It is.
It's beautiful.
That's
beautiful.
That's why I love it.
And I think that's why she aligns so well on our team, because that's what we've set out to not only do ourselves, but to teach the kids to do. right? That's what
Yeah,
we want to
love it.
instill in our kids is make your life, whether it's paid or volunteer or whatever, make it about helping other people because we're also lucky, right? There's
Right.
nobody in this valley that's not incredibly fortunate.
We
So,
are very, very lucky
Yeah.
indeed.
So you were saying that you started with Zonta, and so your mission was to help others initially, and then you realized, and you said you could have a career in this. Could you tell us a little bit about what you mean by a career in this?
Well, not so much on the volunteer side, but on the fundraising side.
Okay.
The philanthropy piece. It's quite a detailed career. I'm a member of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and I have something called CFRE, which is I don't even remember anymore. Anyway, it's a designation that you have to earn, and you take tests on a regular basis to keep it. But it shows that you're a bona fide, a certified fundraising executive is what it stands for.
Wow.
But what it means that you have a certain set, the most important thing of all, a certain set of ethics. So that every relationship that you build looking towards philanthropy for your organization has at its core, a real and true honest purpose, and that you're not just going after all kinds of rich people and why don't you give me money type of thing. But what you're trying to do is to create relationships with people who have a like interest in the core of what your organization is. And you're building that passion. And in the end, you're making a gift to them by encouraging them to make a financial contribution because it feels really good to make a gift. And that's what it's all about.
Wow. So there's a lot of checking in for you and a lot of sort of not self-analysis, but self-analysis. Like, I want to make sure that there's integrity here and that there's honor here in what I'm doing. And earlier you had used 3 words: treasure, time,
treasure, and talent.
Could you tell us a little bit more about what you mean? Because that's adorable, actually.
Well, anytime you find someone who's interested in your cause, there's a way that they can help. Sometimes all 3. Like someone with talent, a particular talent, could be somebody who knows how to come and teach everybody how to use their computers. And sometimes it's someone who, talking about iLEAD, who might be a dance instructor, sharing that talent. But they don't perhaps have a financial wherewithal to make a contribution, but they're contributing mightily in another way. So talent and also time. It's usually time and talent go side by side.
Right.
And
right.
also time and treasure, because it takes time to get to the point where someone feels comfortable and inspired to give a sacrificial gift to an organization, which is what we're looking for.
I wanted to say how much I agree with you on that. I just love and admire how you express that and how you've dedicated your life to that. And
Thank you.
just again, I'm so grateful that you've joined our team. And I really do want to echo what Lois is saying, is that I think that people, almost everybody, almost 100% of humans, in my belief, want to give. So finding a place that they can give with honor and integrity and trust that they're giving their time, treasure, or talent is such a noble thing. So thank you for being that person in our community.
Well, there are lots of us in the community, but I appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to be part of it.
Yeah.
So as you were talking about, I love that time, treasure, talent. And I was reflecting on myself and I was like, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of treasure. I guess I would fall into that category. But time and talent, and like how you can give back and how there is an opportunity for you to check in and go, well, what can I do? So another question that I have is the Child and Family Center. I hear about it. They do great things for the community. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is? And
Well, Child and Family Center is the largest organization here in Santa Clarita that works with children and their families through mental and emotional health issues. So no child comes to the problem arena all by themselves. There are factors all around. It might be something that they are born with because of some poor treatment during the gestational period. It might be something that caused them terrible trauma as a child, or later on, getting towards the school age and beyond, it might be something that's through peer pressure, or we hear a lot about that. But those are the children who are affected seriously with those issues are the clients at Child and Family Center. And I was executive director of the foundation, which was the fundraising arm of Child and Family Center.
Wow. As I'm listening to you, I'm so inspired. I'm like, I want to go out and do what Lois is doing. I mean, you really touch the lives of so many people. I mean, think about it. You have worked at Cal Arts and really influenced arts in this community and helped so many young, promising artists. Oh, I'm getting chills. And then,
I'm so excited when I see their names on the credits of the movies.
My gosh,
I always say till the
yes.
end. And I always see at least one.
Oh, wow.
Because it was a while ago, and they're all mature artists now, and it's very exciting for me.
Oh, my. And have you kept in touch with any of them?
A couple, yeah.
Wow. And then you went on and you did that great work at the Child and Family Center. And speaking of children, I think that might be Sammy.
That is my daughter's ring. She's the only one that's not on silent.
Oh, that's exciting.
Because she's calling in soon.
Yes.
And now you're going to be helping and making a difference over at iLEAD, which is terrific.
It's an exciting prospect because not only is it here locally, but it's a national movement that has so much inspiration behind it. And I think, well, every day that I'm involved with them, I get more and more excited about the possibilities.
That's so cool. Now, is Sammy checking in with us right now, or?
She was just letting me know that she's ready when we are. So.
Okay, and are we ready for a break right now? So, okay, great. So, this is KHTS, our hometown radio show. We are our way on the highway, and I have the amazing Lois Baccio with me, and Amber Raskin, and soon when we get back, we're going to have Sammy Raskin and her amazing ring. Although we will miss out on that.
It's so pretty.
And so please come back after this break, and we're going to find out more about helping others and making a difference in the community, and a retrospective on SCVI with some cool questions. So we'll be right back. Thank you.
Did you know that SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in our community? That means that students at Santa Clarita Valley International Public Charter School can participate in very rigorous classes run by highly trained and skilled international teachers. They work with kids to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners. Students with IB diplomas at select colleges can graduate with a full year credit at their university. Schedule a tour today online at scvi-k12.org or by calling 705-4820.
Santa Clarita Philharmonic has begun its season of free concerts. The SCP is a non-profit community-based volunteer symphony orchestra comprised of local musicians from throughout the Santa Clarita Valley who are dedicated to providing quality classical music for the residents of the Santa Clarita Valley. Like the Santa Clarita Philharmonic on Facebook or visit santaclaritaphilharmonic.org for more information.
The VIP Grotto experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Your experience begins with a clay facial mask. Then you are painted with a soothing aloe vera shea butter coconut oil body mask. In temperatured chambers, you relax and allow the moisturizing masks to work their magic. Finally, you rinse off in a rainforest shower and finish with a pH balancing mist. Treat yourself to this hydrating and refreshing experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Call to reserve your VIP Grotto experience at 260-1244. First impressions say it all. Choosing the right makeup is critical to that first impression and keeping your skin looking young and healthy. That's why Santa Clarita's Jen Gerard created Gerard Cosmetics. Inspired by women of all ages who gravitate toward classic and timeless beauty with a modern twist, Gerard Cosmetics. Superb quality and pigmentation, along with lip glosses and lipsticks in colors for everyone. The internationally acclaimed Gerard Cosmetics. Discover your new look at GerardCosmetics.com.
KHTS.
Hi, we are back at KHTS, your hometown radio station. This is Our Way on the Highway. And we are talking with Lois Baccio and Amber Raskin. And we're adding in the lovely Sammy Raskin from Sarah Lawrence College, which is in New York, right?
Bronxville.
Bronxville,
New York.
Bronxville, New York. Sammy, are you there, honey?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hi, we're so glad you could be here. Sammy, okay, this is a totally irrelevant question, but how's the weather in Bronxville?
It's freezing. Right now I'm looking out the window and it's just completely covered in snow. Everything is.
Crazy this time of year. And here we are, 90-degree summer. Just nutty. So I'm going to talk a little bit about you. And Sammy is Amber's daughter, and she's a graduate of SCVI, iLEAD. And she's attending Sarah Lawrence College and a entrepreneur in her own right. I know about Crossroads Theater. So Sammy, we're going to want to talk a little bit about that, but you have a one-act festival coming up this summer, right? Yeah.
I do, yes.
And also, I just think that growing up with such a dynamic mom who has made such an incredible influence in our community, it would be fun to hear the journey from your point of view and how this influenced you, and your dad being an entrepreneur as well. Is that right? Okay.
It's funny when we go to the other side of the hill and into Los Angeles, I'm Keith's wife, my husband, because everyone knows him there. And then when we're here, he's always Amber's husband.
Oh,
so
how fun.
she has been both of our daughters, which I'm curious to see what her answer is going to be for that too.
Absolutely. And Sammy, do you know Lois? So I'm going to introduce you here. No. So Lois, this is Sammy. Sammy, this is Lois.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, sweetie.
So, Sammy, our first question to you is, tell us a little bit about these wonderful businesses that you are creating and running.
Well, I first started out with, it was a character party business. So, like, when you go to a kid's birthday party, sometimes there's, like, characters there who are, like, Disney princesses and that type of thing. So that's how I first started out, and I started that in 8th grade. I began doing kids' birthday parties, and I thought I would audition, but then I realized I was too young, so I thought I may as well just start a business on my own.
Fabulous.
Yeah, which was greatly influenced by both of my parents, who have both just started businesses and have been talking about their own companies for forever. So it was just a natural idea for me to just start my own business. And then after a while, like, I got really interested in theater and wanted a way to be doing professional theater while still in high school. And I knew there was a need for that in the area as well, because I had so many friends in theater programs who wanted to be doing professional theater but weren't able to because of their schedules or whatever the reason was. So we decided that me and my business partner, Sierra Miller, who's also a graduate of CPI, we decided that we wanted to create our own theater company and put on our own professional productions with professional actors as well as high school students. And it actually became an economics project for Innovation Studios. So I was getting both credit for it for economics and English, and it was just my huge project, and it was what I was working on most of the time and integrating all my subjects in school. And I was able to work on it through high school, which was just incredible, like being able to work like on getting my high school diploma and then also creating a company at the same time. SCVI had made it possible, and having entrepreneurial parents made it possible to actually create this, which was just amazing. I'm so grateful.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Can I ask you a question, honey?
Go ahead, Mom.
Did you have other friends at school that were doing that kind of thing?
It's the culture at SCVI. And while no one necessarily created a company, everyone is, people are selling their own products. People are, their projects are like the beginnings of businesses and companies. Everyone, it's just the spirit of SCVI. They're all creating their own thing and pursuing their own passions in their own right. And not waiting for someone else to give them the opportunity. They're going out and creating that opportunity for themselves.
So
I always like to ask that question because people give her dad and I credit, but it's not just us. There's the whole community there, and I think that's an important point to note.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. So, Sammy, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. So the first one is we're going to call the shameless self-promotion. I want you to tell us about the shows you're doing this summer and where, and so that people can come and see them.
Well, the first show we're going to be doing, this is going to be our second annual Santa Clarita Valley One-Act Play Festival. So we started the first one last year, and it was much smaller scale, but this year we're really trying to up our game. We had around 20 submissions last year, and it's all submissions from people in the Santa Clarita area and surrounding areas. They all submit their one-act plays, and we have a panel of people, and we go through and we pick the ones that we want to put on, and we get local directors and local actors, and everyone comes and they create this collaborative, original piece of theater with all of this original work from playwrights in the area. So that will be happening at the beginning of the summer. We haven't announced the dates yet, but those will be coming out soon. And we will also be doing a summer musical as well, and that will also be announced very soon.
Wow.
What are the ages, Sammy, of all of these artists that are making submission, that are directing, that are acting?
So last year, our youngest was 9 years old, and our oldest was around 25.
Very
So we had everyone in between, just actors and writers and directors of every age just coming in and making this collaborative piece of theater.
And where do you put on your shows?
Last year it was put on at SCVI, and this year we're hoping to meet up with a local theater and collaborate with them.
All right. So, and what is the name of the theater company again?
Crossroads Theater Company.
That's it. Crossroads Theater Company. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that was Crossroads Theater Company in Santa Clarita. Did I say that right? Crossroads
It's
Theater
spelled,
Company.
It's not spelled the typical spelling. It's spelled because of with a family last name, which is ROED. So
Okay.
people think it's a typo sometimes, but
Okay.
she always says it's not a typo.
All right. So it's Cross RODE. Want to make sure everybody hears
ROED,
about
yeah.
that. ROED. Okay.
ROED.
Okay.
Yes.
And then earlier you were saying that you had, when you were dreaming of your theater company and putting it together, you realized that you needed to be familiar with business as well as the arts. And I thought, how fortunate we have Lois here, who is that's what you're involved in, right, Lois? That's kind of like
That's kind
the
of what it
bridging-
is. It's a
Yes.
synergy. Absolutely. That understand that all these things that we do, whether they are for-profit, non-profit, charitable, industry, everything has to have an approach that's within the realm of business. All of it does, because that's the organization, and that's the outreach, and that's the understanding about promotion and about budgeting, everything. And so if the young people, young artists in particular, are given some guidance in understanding that, they're far less likely to fail, because they understand that there's a need to keep track of the money and everything. So yes,
That makes me think of another story that Sammy might not mind sharing. Is in the process of creating her company and just having a first seat as her mom, watching her go through this process. It was for her economics class, and so she had to look at the business side. And one of the things she learned was she did the first show she did not make money, and then she learned upon reflection, the One Act Play Festival came about. So I wonder if, Sammy, you could talk about that process.
Yeah, so our first production, there's so many things as an actor going in you don't realize that are so important to having a successful production and making money and having a profit and being able to produce your next show. Something that we didn't anticipate going in was marketing. Marketing is such a huge aspect of creating a company and creating a play. And you can create the best show in the world, but if no one's there to see it and you don't have an audience, how are you going to make money? So it was about finding our audience and finding that niche market of who is going to come see these plays and who really wants to see local theater put on by youth. So it's a journey we're still working on and trying to gain that community around us and of young artists who are both want to see the shows and participate and collaborate. Yeah.
Sammy, did you have, when you did your first show, I remember it went into the red, right?
Yeah, we did.
So you didn't make money on it. You lost some money. And and then didn't you have a conversation around looking at the budget and how you could shift that? And there was I'm trying to lead you here so you remember on your own. So let me know if you can't. But then when you did the One Act Play Festival, I think that there was something around licensing and other things you didn't have to pay for, right?
Yeah, when we did the One Act Festival, so when you do a show, you have to purchase the rights, you have to purchase all the materials, and it's a huge expense. It ends up being, in a small production like ours, it ends up being most of the budget just because of how expensive the materials are. So with the One Act Festival, what we decided to do is create our own original content and be creating it ourselves, because then it's our own. It's our own art. No one else we're not having to pay anyone else, and it's all original. But also, it ends up bringing the cost down quite a bit, and we're able to actually make this a longer run and whatever we want to do to create it, to make it more successful, because it's our own original content.
So the point I'm trying to highlight here is that you learned from trying and not succeeding and reflecting and adjusting. And that's one of the things, in our own shameless promotion of the schools, is that's one of our focuses, is having the kids just try. We have people that could do the marketing for her. We have people that could have told her that ahead of time. Instead, we said, here, try it, see how it works, and then reflect and adjust. And that's what I'm just so proud of you for, Sammy. You've done so well.
It's something that's oh, sorry.
That's okay, sweetheart. Go ahead.
It's something that's so encouraged at SCVI, both and also in my family, just failing and learning from your failures. And it's like every show, there's something, like me and my team, we always go back and we reflect and we look at the audience and we look at the team and we look at everything that we've done, and we're always like self-evaluating and saying like, oh, this didn't work. Maybe we should try shifting this and spending less money on this and more money on this. And we're always self-evaluating and learning from our failures, and it ends up being an opportunity to grow instead of like, oh, I failed, guess it's time to quit. It helps us learn and grow.
Talking about, you were saying that you wanted to find your niche, or your niche, and I'm curious about that. What made you decide on young? And then, Lois, you were saying earlier about time, talent, and treasure. And that is also finding a niche, isn't it? So when you're, in terms of the work you do, you also find the niche for who you're going. So there's a synergy there, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, there has to be a tie. There has to be some linkage and enthusiasm. That you find people that are willing. They have some resources, whether it's time, treasure, or talent, and they're interested in what you're doing. And so that has to happen. And I'm sure Sammy finds that when she's putting on a production. Because if you're constantly just beating people over the head trying to convince them that this is something they should do, you're missing the opportunity to find another person who's absolutely willing and just waiting to be asked.
Do you find that's true, Sammy?
Yeah, of course. There's such everyone, like this community of artists, it's like they're just dying to like get in there and work and be in professional shows and create their own art. It's and we were at first, when we were first doing our first production, we were trying to get people and pulling from people who weren't necessarily interested in it. But then what we're now seeing is that there's so many people in different communities and different schools and different programs that are all so interested in creating their own art. So I completely agree with what you're saying. It's just about finding that market.
Speaking of market and marketing and business, your mom basically founded and marketed SCVI and iLEAD. And so were you there at the very beginning? Were you going to tell us a little bit about what you were doing 10 years ago prior to the beginning of the school? Were you eating private? What was, tell us your journey.
So I first started out in the public school in my area, and it was in kindergarten and the beginning of first grade that I was in this public school. And I am, as you could probably tell, a very creative person, and from a very young age loved the arts. And that was something that, even in kindergarten, was very stifling. I didn't feel like it was I wasn't able to express myself, even at that young age. So then I went to a private school in the area, and it still wasn't necessarily much better. It wasn't how I learned, I mean. And because I was the type of kid to ask lots of questions and to be really curious, and it wasn't necessarily how that school taught. And then after that, that's when my mom, and you might have to jump in, Mom. I was very young, so I don't necessarily remember the exact timeline. But then I did a homeschooling program, which was amazing. And while she was creating the school,
so it was just, I'll just help you out, honey. It was
yeah, thank you.
It was, she went to a public district school for kindergarten and first grade. We did a private school for a little bit of second grade, and then we homeschooled until SCVI opened in fourth grade. And it was really not that there was anything wrong with the other schools. It just wasn't the right fit. Mm-hmm. So we were just looking for another choice and something that fit and suited your personality and your brother's personality and Dad's and my personality, to be honest, because that's of what we were looking for in a focus on entrepreneurialism. Rightfully so, that's not necessarily what most of our schools have set up to be, is to focus on entrepreneurialism, and that's what we were looking for. So that's why we decided to invent it, because we're entrepreneurs at heart. So fourth grade was when it opened. What can you talk a little bit about what it was like from the day we opened, and watching it, the community be built, being a founding kid, helping shape what it looked like?
Also, just on a personal level, what was it like at home? If it had been me, I can imagine a reality where I'd have boxes everywhere, and and that whole sort of Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, we're putting on
crazy.
a show, and so
exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
So
exactly how you're explaining, papers everywhere, phone calls constantly, meetings, and it was fun to watch for me. I enjoyed it. It was fun to watch my mom going off and into the community and making those connections. And there was, I keep talking about this. I mention this all the time. I would draw out what I thought should be the logo of the school and try to come up with names. I really wanted the school to be called Sally Ride Academy.
I like it, Sally Ride Academy.
There's a camp with that.
Yeah, that works for me. Okay, go ahead. All right. So you had drawn a logo. What was your logo? Tell us about your logo.
It didn't make any sense. I think I just thought it was pretty. It was a vase of flowers, and it had a banner on the top that said Sally Ride.
Cool.
Did you do something around a mascot too, Sammy?
Oh, yes. So when the school first opened, I really wanted it to be called the Stars, because I thought SCVI Stars sounded so cool. So
in fourth grade.
In our fourth grade class.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling it now. I'm feeling it. SCVI
I like
Stars.
it too. I'm just reminding us all that she was fourth grade.
So what we did in our fourth grade class, this is in the first couple weeks of school, members of staff would write down on a sticky note what ideas for mascots that they had, and they gave them to our fourth grade class. And Don Evenson wrote down the Stars for me, and we all got into teams, and some other ones were like the explorers and the ambassadors, which ended up being parts of the school now. But so we all got into teams, and my team, we went around and we went to all the other staff members and all the classrooms and all the kids, and we would give out little sticky notes that said stars, like vote for the SCBI stars. So then the entire school voted, and they picked the stars as the mascot.
Whoa, that was like a real spark for you. Like, I have this idea and I can put it out there and it touches people and it influences people. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's very cool. So we are heading into a commercial break, but when we come back, I'd love to hear more about what it felt. I mean, were you aware? I guess we'll find out. We'll find out if she was aware at 4th grade of what would be transform, what would happen 10 years later. Could she see into the future and where we are today? All right, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in our community? That means that students at Santa Clarita Valley International Public Charter School can participate in very rigorous classes run by highly trained and skilled international teachers. They work with kids to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners. Students with IB diplomas at select colleges can graduate with a full year credit at their university. Schedule a tour today online at scvi-k12.org or by calling 705-4820.
Don and Gino here. So we know you want to have fun learning about real estate and finance. You're going to want to tune in this Saturday, 9 a.m. to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station. Hot topics, as always, guiding you to personal and financial wellness. And that's right, you don't want to miss it. So again, this Saturday, 9 a.m., and then we replay it online Sunday, 9 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. right here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Join us.
Sweet, salty, tastiest, bacon and pancakiest. Big yawns are okay, yummy syrups, yes way. Butter pecan, blueberry, old-fashioned strawberry. Never empty coffee pot, Mom says it hits the spot. Almonds are the fluffiest, Dad's hugs the scruffiest. Scrambled eggy, pepper shaky, orange juicy, wide awake, stuffed French toastiest. Waffles with the mustiest, buttermilky, smooth, silky, tastes great. Love on a plate.
IHOP, everything you love about breakfast.
Hi, Kirk Stinson here with Plumbing by Kirk, your hometown plumber. I want to stress to you how important it is to get proper advice on what to do in case of emergencies. Always know where your shutoff valves are to be able to isolate it and have the problem taken care of on regular hours and avoid expensive plumbing bill.
We invite you to visit our website for free plumbing advice at plumbingbykirk.com or give us a call, 263-6519. That's 263-6519.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Plumbing by Kirk.
KHTS.
And we are back at KHTS, your hometown radio station. This is Our Way on the Highway, talking to Lois Baccio and Amber Raskin and Sammy Raskin. And when we were coming into commercial, we were talking about prescience and, can we see into the future? So, Sammy, you are in 4th grade, and here you are in this one-room classroom. You said 4,000 square feet?
There were 4 classrooms, but it was very small. There was no yard. The kindergartners went into a breezeway next to an insurance company for recess. So it was 4,000 square feet. And by comparison, SCVI has 60,000 square feet now. So
Wow. And there was a purple curtain, I think Cheryl said, or a blue curtain that delineated the purple curtain, the famous purple curtain, which Cheryl says is still Cheryl Senna, who is educator,
founding teacher.
Yes, founding teacher, was talking about that. So, Sammy, here you are at the very beginning, okay? And you're in 4th grade. You're super proud of Mom and Dad pulling this together. Did you have it? I mean, what is it like as a 4th grader to be on the beginning of this? What was that like? Did you?
I honestly don't think I realized how incredible it was that she pulled this off. Going into it, I was just like, oh, everyone's mom does this, right? And I guess I just didn't realize the impact of how incredible this community of people was that all came together and like, and created this like family almost. Like when you walk into the school, like everyone's saying hello, giving you a hug. Everyone just loves each other so much. And even in the classroom, everyone was so close. You'd be so close to your teacher and so close to everyone around you. It's just like such a unique thing that I haven't really experienced anywhere else in my life. Just everyone just is so passionate and so loving. And I just love what they do as well.
And so with that in mind, how does that inform your life now in terms of your goals and where you want to be and what you would like to be doing? How does that inform you now?
Well, it's definitely something I strive to do with, like, in every community I'm a part of, to be so welcoming and share my passions with other people and find people just as passionate as I am, to strive and create that same community of people that's like a family. And I think it's such an important aspect. I try to strive to do it in my own company as well, and just have people who are loving and caring and welcoming and accept everyone and bring them into the community and just welcome them with open arms.
That's a great business model, isn't it? And that's what you do, isn't it, Lois? And that's what you do,
I think everyone
Amber.
Yes.
Well, not everyone. I wish I could say that everyone, but how lovely that that's the aspiration.
I think that's the wave of the future in our society, right? I think we're moving out of, as a society, he with the most dies with the most toys wins, and more into how can we be compassionate humans and make an impact. I mean, that's what this millennial generation is. That's you hear some negative things sometimes about every generation, but what I think that I disagree with that, and I think that what the millennials are doing is focusing on impact, focusing on giving back, focusing on meaning, and so it's not just about making money. It's about making a living, a purposeful living.
And I mean, I think I heard President Clinton once say that changing I think I'm going to get this right, the zero-sum game, yes, which is that if somebody wins, somebody has to lose. And really the focus needs to be everybody win.
And win-win, which is actually one of the 7 habits which we talk about in our schools.
Right.
Look for the win-win instead of the win-lose. It's
exactly.
a really good point.
How can we build each other up as opposed to tear each other down?
Perfect.
And so speaking of building each other up, what do you foresee for your future, Miss Sammy Raskin? Where are you headed? Aside from Crossroad Theater doing a one-act festival this summer, as well as musical theater, that's Crossroad, Crossrode, right?
R-O-E-D. It's the Norwegian spelling.
Okay.
In Norway. If you go to Norway, there's lots of roads spelled R-O-E-D.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that, honey. So tell us what your goals are, speaking of. Where are you headed in 2018?
In 2018
and the future.
So, well, it's right now. I keep wanting to build my company and seek out other internships as well, and learn from other companies and other theater communities and artists. Just making connections, and I'm hoping really to just grow our company and be a bigger presence in the Santa Clarita community, as well as starting to move into LA as well. So we have our feet in both communities and bringing people from LA into Santa Clarita and having that connection. That's my immediate goal for Crossroads and myself.
Sounds wonderful. That's building the community again, building the family. And then Lois, what about you? Where are you, how are you looking forward to 2018 and beyond? Where are you?
Well, this project that we're doing at SCVI, really iLEAD, because we're focusing on the national growth of this organization. And I think what's exciting about that is the whole concept of instilling entrepreneurship really talks also about leadership, and being an entrepreneur doesn't necessarily have to be a money-making concern, but it has to be a leadership role. So developing leadership is really key, and I think that's very, very exciting for those who choose a place like iLEAD. And I'm very excited about that, about all those prospects.
That's wonderful.
Across the country.
Yeah, there's 8 schools now, right? Across the
There's
country?
10 locations.
10
and
locations.
Next year we'll be in 4 states.
Wow.
And I agree with you, Lois. Even if you are not the CEO and founder of your own company, those entrepreneurial skills that you learn and mindset that we instill, that serves you well in any role you play. Even if it's as the head of a household.
Exactly.
All of those things, all of those apply, transfer those skills.
Without doubt. It's very basic, and it's great.
Yeah. And what about you? Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And what about you, Amber? What about you, 2018 and beyond?
So what I'm looking to get into is have the organization continue to run and grow with some of the very talented people that have joined our team. And I'd like to get into focusing, and I say this with the caveat that it'll happen when the time is right, because I may not have the time to focus yet, but I'd really like to focus on state and national advocacy for charter schools and it doesn't, I'm not even really completely convinced it has to be in charters, but for this style of education, just to have more of it. I don't think it has to be everybody, but I would like it more available and prevalent to more people that would like to learn this way.
What wonderful, optimistic thoughts as we are closing out the radio show. And so that's my question to you, dear listeners. What are you going to do to make a difference, have a positive influence in 2018 in your community, right? Good questions, time, talent, and treasures, right? Thank you for listening. Our Way on the Highway, that's KHTS, our hometown radio station. Bye.